Hey guys, welcome to Bastion Time. I am your host Bastion, wearing my Zelda biker's jacket. Yes, it is specifically a Zelda jacket. You know that, I think the last video or a couple videos ago, I was talking about how Link in some early concept art was going to be possibly wearing a motorcycle jacket and was going to have a motorcycle, but obviously that never came to pass. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, I've got a Zelda jacket, why don't I wear it in the video? But then I realized, oh, it's extremely warm, I don't want to wear it in a video. In case you don't know, I have to have like a bazillion different lights on in order to have you see me at all, and in order for that to work, it creates a lot of heat, so I'm gonna take it off. But anyways, I thought I'd show you the biker's jacket. I don't know if you can actually see the design very well or not, which is why I'm slightly disappointed with it. I did pay an absurd amount of money for it, and then once it arrived, I was like, huh, you can't really see the design that well, it just looks like a biker's jacket. Oh well, anyways, time to take it off. Now I will not overheat and die. Also, the hat is different. You might be saying to yourself, if you've seen my videos before, no it isn't, Bastion, that's the same hat you always wear. Well, it's its twin. Unfortunately, a week ago, you didn't see this in the recent videos because I purposely angled the bill. Well, I guess the bill is always angled such that you can't really see it, but the previous iteration of this hat has a huge red stain right about here. And it's because somehow the hat was in my bag, which had my pre-workout drink in it, which I guess they use an insane amount of red food dye or something, because although the bottle did not open or anything, somehow just the rim of it or something that still had some of that liquid stained the hat. So I looked on eBay to find out. I've searched eBay many times to see if they have this same hat or not, because some of you have asked, where did you get that, and stuff. Anyways, they had one copy, a used copy's the wrong word, but, and it wasn't that expensive, so I decided to go ahead and buy it, because I really like this hat, and it sucks that I ruined the other one, so I'm trying to treat this one a little better. But anyways, wow, that was a lot of preamble. Let's get to that Nintendo news. First of all, people, of course, are trying to recreate the various recipes from Breath of the Wild, and we've already seen some more savory dishes. Now somebody has tried to recreate the monster cake. I suspect they did not use actual monster extracts, that's just my assumption, maybe they did. But in any case, it looks really good, I want to eat it. Although, I have to admit, I haven't yet encountered monster cake. Maybe there's some NPC that tells you about it, or you eat it somewhere. And although I feel like I've explored the heck out of that game, I haven't encountered it yet, so I don't know really what this is exactly, except what it sounds like, and it looks good. If you want to learn how to make monster cake, there's a link down there for it. Symphony of the Goddesses is back at it again with another tour. This time they are coming back to my town, but I don't know, I've seen them 3 times already, and the third time I think was identical to the second time. Or no, I have seen the 3 different iterations. There was the regular version a few years ago, then there was the second quest version, and now there's the Master Quest version, and I think they're still on the Master Quest version. I don't think there's a 4th iteration. And honestly, there wasn't much of a change between the first and second, and then the second and Master Quest, so even if there is a 4th iteration, I think I've seen it enough for now, unless they completely overhaul it 100%, which I can't imagine they're gonna do. I'm probably good for now, so I probably won't be seeing it, but if you haven't seen it yet, or you want to see it for the 5th or 6th or 100th time, there's a link down there for you with all their different tour dates. So we've heard from very few people that there are some JoyCon issues, that, you know, supposedly the left JoyCon desyncs at times or whatever, and really, this is coming from like a handful of people. It's not as if this is a thing that tons of people are complaining about, so unfortunately it's creating a bit of a bad rep for the Switch, which is absurd because, again, it's not an issue that a lot of people are experiencing, but now there's this stigma out there about, well, I'm glad I didn't buy it yet before they fix that issue, and it's like, but it isn't an issue. People have figured out that, you know, it's really only affecting a very few amount of people, and those people for whom it is affecting, they communicate with Nintendo, Nintendo sends them a replacement, it's all good, it's not that big of a deal. So in any case, Nintendo, and then there are a couple other things, like, oh, I heard that when you slide the Switch into its holder dock, that's the word, it will scratch the screen. Well, I've taken it in and out of the dock a billion times. There are 0 scratches. I don't know what these people are doing. I don't know if maybe their particular dock has some sort of sharp edge to it that mine doesn't have or whatever, but I haven't experienced this, and I've been utilizing the portability factor of it daily, basically, so I don't know. I'm not experiencing it. Nintendo's official response is, we've heard about these things, but we don't really... It's not that they're saying they don't buy it, they're just saying, we haven't heard about it from enough people for us to be too concerned. If you have experienced this, please do contact us, and we will rectify the issue for you, but it's not apparently happening to that many people, so it's nothing to worry about. Our next story is about the Stables theme from Breath of the Wild. I'm sure it has a much fancier title, like Horse's Lament. Not Lament, that would be a sad song. Like Horse's Reverie or something like that. Whatever it's called, we'll just call it the Stable theme for now. And it's quite a nice little theme. It's basically a version of the Epona theme from all the way back in Ocarina of Time. You know, a lot of the songs in Breath of the Wild are new versions of older songs. When you first hear the Kakariko theme, you're like, well, that sounds very different. There's no way that's the same. But if you actually pay attention to the melody, yeah, it is the same song. It's just a completely different style. Various other themes do a similar kind of thing where it doesn't quite sound like the old song, but if you look at the melody, it actually is the old song. But in any case, the Stable theme, which is basically the Epona theme, is very nice, and frankly, in my opinion, the best version of the Epona theme that there ever has been. I have never been a fan of the Epona theme. I always thought that it sounded way too, like, Wild Wild West to be in a Zelda game. Like, I get that horses are associated with the American West, you know, whole thing, but I don't need that in my Zelda game. That's completely anachronistic. But this rendition of it sounds much more like something you'd see in a traditional fantasy type setting, so I'm very pleased with it, and all of this long-winded babble is about the fact that somebody has already done a cover of it, which isn't that surprising, I guess, and it's a very nice cover, so if you want to listen to that, there's a link down there for you. Our next story is about some fellow who has a YouTube channel called The Almighty D, I think. I forget what the D stands for, it's like Dargan or something like that. In any case, it's a fun little channel, and he has decided to try to figure out if you can scan Amiibo that are still boxed with your Switch Pro controller and then with the Joy-Cons. And what he ended up finding out is you can't really scan it with the Switch Pro controller, at least most Amiibo, because they have quite a bit of space between the bottom of the box and the actual part of the NFC that can be scanned. So that doesn't really work out so well. However, for some reason, the Joy-Con can scan it quite easily, so I'm not sure what that's about, but and then I thought to myself, oh geez, this would be an evilly delicious way to get some of those fancy new items that you can only get through different Switch Amiibo without actually having to buy the Amiibo. No, I would never actually do that, but I did think about it for a second, if I'm going to be honest. And then I realized, no, this would never work, because the whole point is you gotta scan it daily, like you're never sure what you're gonna get, so you're gonna have to own the Amiibo, of course. I guess this is really only useful for people who like to collect things and don't want to take them out of their box or whatever, like they want to keep it in new, pristine condition. In that case, you can go ahead and scan your Amiibo that way. Works for me. But if you want to check out his video about this, it's pretty entertaining. There's a link down there for you. And our final story is something that I thought we already knew, but maybe we didn't. It's from a new interview, though, so I guess if we didn't already know it, now we do, which is that the Wind Waker HD is what really inspired the visuals for Breath of the Wild. Now, I guess maybe originally I thought that it was Skyward Sword that inspired the visuals, but they said specifically that when they were trying out the different HD versions to see of previous Zelda games, to see which direction to go into for Breath of the Wild, you know, they tried out Twilight Princess HD, meh. They tried out Skyward Sword. Not sure why they decided against that, but when they tried out the Wind Waker HD and saw what that game could look like in HD with, you know, more cartoony style graphics and, you know, better lighting and all that, they were like, oh wow, we gotta do this for Breath of the Wild. So then they realized, well, we can't do the same kind of character design where everybody's really chibi looking. I think that's how you pronounce that word. I've actually never heard that word said out loud. I've only ever read it now that I'm thinking about it. But in any case, they decided, that would probably turn off some of the older gamers, and we want to try to bring those guys back in. So we'll use more realistic character models, but in the Wind Waker art style. So it's perfect, in my opinion. This is the best looking Zelda game I've ever seen in my life. Frankly, I think that this is probably what was originally intended since the beginning. You know, in the beginning, they had 8 bits to work with, so it could never look anything like this. But if you look at, like, the art from The Legend of Zelda and The Adventure of Link, it kind of does bring to mind what we're seeing in Breath of the Wild. So I think it's finally making good on the original plans in a million different ways, but that's probably a video for another time. Anyways, that is it for this episode. You know, tomorrow I don't think I have any news to talk about, so instead I think I will do either a video, since you guys have asked about my Zelda tattoos, I'll do a video about that, or I might do a video about maybe just my week in, I guess it would be 2 weeks now, week and a half impressions of Breath of the Wild, but nothing spoilery or anything. So we'll see which of those two it is. See you guys tomorrow for whatever that is. See you then. Bye, guys.